Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be presenting my special needs research project. I chose to do autism. Autism is also known as autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. It is a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects how a person communicates, interacts, and experiences the world. The term spectrum means that autism presents differently in each individual, ranging from mild to more significant challenges. Some key words for autism is autism spectrum disorder, repetitive behaviors, sensory sensitivities, developmental differences, and structured routines. Key characteristics of autism often include differences in social communication, repetitive behaviors or restrictive interests, and sensory sensitivities, such as being overly or underly responsive to sounds, lights, or textures. Some individuals may have strong abilities in specific areas like memory, art, or mathematics, while facing difficulties in other aspects of daily functioning. Autism is not an illness, but rather a neurological difference that shapes how people perceive and interact with the world. Early identification and individualized support, such as speech therapy, behavioral interventions, and inclusive educational practices, can help individuals with autism reach their full potential. Causes of autism. There is no fully known cause for autism, but research shows that it results from a combination of genetic and environmental factors that influence early brain development. A current theory emphasizes that autism is a neurological condition resulting from differences in how the brain is structured, and how it processes information. Genetic factors play a significant role. Studies have found that autism tends to run in families, suggesting that certain genes increase the likelihood of developing ASD. These genes may affect how brain cells grow and communicate. In some cases, specific genes, mutations, or syndromes are associated with autism. Environmental influences may also contribute. Researchers are studying how factors such as advanced parental age, prenatal exposure to certain medications, pregnancy or birth complications, and environmental toxins might increase risk. However, none of these factors alone directly cause autism. They may simply increase susceptibility in individuals who are genetically predisposed. Current theories emphasize that autism is a neurodevelopmental condition resulting from differences in how the brain is structured and how it processes information. Scientists believe that these differences begin before birth and affect communication before brain regions. It is important to note that vaccines do not cause autism. This claim has been repeatedly disproven by extensive scientific research. So, who is affected by ASD? All racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups. Boys are more likely than girls to be identified with ASD. Most children are diagnosed by age 8, and adults are affected as well. Some current statistics. 1 in 31 children in the U.S. has autism, up from the previous rate of 1 in 36. 1 in 45 adults in the U.S. have autism. In the U.S., about 4 in 100 boys and 1 in 100 girls have autism. In the U.S., autism prevalence is lower among white children than other racial and ethnic groups. Around the world, 1 in 100 children are diagnosed with autism. Autism can be reliably diagnosed by a specialist by age 2, but the average age of autism diagnosis in the U.S. is age 5. The average age for first intervention in the U.S. is 4.7 years. The average age of diagnosis for children in lower income households is 4.7 years compared to 5.2 in higher income households. And California has the highest rate of ASD at 1 in 12.5. Some symptoms of autism: social communication and interception challenges, repetitive behaviors and restricted interests, delayed speech or language skills, unusual tone or voice of speech patterns, difficulty understanding nonverbal communication, difficulty with social reciprocity, trouble engaging in typical back and forth conversation or responding to social cues like smiles or eye contact, limited eye contact or facial expressions, may avoid eye contact or use fewer gestures and facial expressions, challenges in forming relationships, reduced sharing of interests or emotions, repetitive movements or speech, such as hand flapping, rocking, repeating words or phrases, strong need for sameness or routines, distress when schedules or environments change unexpectedly, highly focused interests, intense fascination with specific topics, objects, or activities. Sensory sensitivities, over or under reactivity to sounds, lights, textures, or smells. How this affects children with autism. How autism affects children. I'm so sorry. They might prefer to play alone or struggle to make friends because they interpret social situations differently. Autism can also affect language development. Some children may begin speaking later than expected or use language in unique ways, such as repeating words or phrases. Despite these challenges, children with autism often have unique strengths. Some display exceptional memory, attention to detail, creativity, or deep focus on special interests. With early intervention, supportive environments, and individualized teaching strategies, children with autism can develop strong communication, social, and learning skills that help them thrive. Past diagnosis for autism. In the past, autism was diagnosed very differently than it is today. Earlier understandings of autism were limited, and professionals often misunderstood the condition. When autism was first described in the 1940s, it was thought to be a rare emotional or social disorder rather than a developmental difference. During the 1950s and 1960s, autism was sometimes mistakenly linked to poor parenting, a theory known as the refrigerator mother theory, which wrongly suggested that cold or distant mothers caused autism. Before modern diagnostic tools were developed, doctors relied mostly on observation and interviews without standardized criteria. The understanding of autism evolved as the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or the DSM, was updated. Current diagnosis. An autism diagnosis is made through a careful process that looks at a child's developmental history, behavior, and communication skills. Because autism spectrum disorder varies greatly from one person to another, there is no single medical test, like a blood test or brain scan, that can detect it. Instead, diagnosis is based on behavioral observations and developmental assessments. Typically, the process begins when parents, caregivers, or teachers notice developmental differences such as limited speech, lack of eye contact, or repetitive behaviors. The child is then referred to a specialist team, which may include a developmental pediatrician, psychologist, neurologist, or speech language pathologist. Professionals use standardized tools and assessments such as the Autism Diagnostic Observations Schedule or the Autism Diagnostic Interview Revised to evaluate social interaction, communication, play, or behavior. They also compare the child's behaviors to the diagnostic criteria in the DSM 5. Early diagnosis, often possible by age 2 or 3, is very important because it allows children to begin early intervention special services such as speech therapy, occupational therapy, and social learning skills. These supports can greatly improve a child's communication, independence, and overall quality of life. Some past treatments for autism were ineffective or harmful. During the 1940s to 1960s, autism was sometimes viewed as an emotional or psychiatric disorder. Some children were treated in institutions or mental hospitals where they received little individualized care or educational support. In the 1960s and 1970s, the focus began shifting toward behavior based interventions. Other early treatments included medications to control symptoms like hyperactivity or aggression, although they did not treat autism itself. By the 1980s and 1990s, understanding of autism improved and interventions became more supportive and educational. Programs began to focus on communication skills, social interaction, sensory integration, and family involvement, forming the basis of the more compassionate, research based treatments used today. Which leads us into current treatment for autism. There is currently no cure for autism spectrum disorder, but a variety of treatments and interventions can help children develop important skills and improve their quality of life. Effective treatment plans are individualized, meaning they are tailored to each child's unique strengths, challenges, and needs. One of the most widely used approaches is behavioral therapy, especially applied behavioral analysis. Other helpful therapies include speech and language therapy, which support communication development, and occupational therapy, which helps children with sensory processing, fine motor skills, and daily living tasks. Social skills training teaches children how to interact with others, make friends, and understand social cues. Some children also benefit from physical therapy to improve coordination and movement. In addition to therapy, some children may receive educational interventions through individualized education plans, also known as IEPs, at school. These programs create structured learning environments and accommodations to meet each child's developmental and academic needs. While there are no medications that cure autism, certain medications may help manage related symptoms such as anxiety, hyperactivity, or sleep difficulties. Early and consistent intervention is key. With proper support, many children with autism make significant progress in communication, socialization, and independence. Applied behavioral analysis. This is one of the most widely used and research supported methods for teaching children with autism. It focuses on understanding and improving specific behaviors through positive reinforcement. In the classroom, teachers use ABA strategies to help children learn new skills, such as communication, self care, and social interaction. Tasks are broken down into small, manageable steps, and each success is rewarded. Each success is rewarded with praise or a preferred item. This consistent structure helps children build confidence and retain skills over time. The Picture Exchange Communication System, PECS, is a visual communication method developed to help nonverbal or minimally verbal children express their needs and thoughts. Using picture cards or symbols, children learn to exchange an image for a desired object or activity. For example, handing a picture of a snack to request food. Research shows that PECS helps children develop communication, reduce frustration, and can even lead to verbal speech. Teachers often integrate PECS into daily routines, schedules, and choice boards in the classroom. And the last one is structured teaching, or the TEACCH method, which is treatment and education of autistic and communication handicapped children. This approach focuses on creating a structured and predictable learning environment. This method uses clear visual supports such as labeled work areas, visual schedules, and color coded materials to help children understand what is expected and reduce anxiety. TEACCH encourages independence by organizing the classroom so children can complete tasks with minimal adult assistance. Research supports TEACCH as an effective way to promote learning, organization, and self regulation in children with autism. And here are my resources. And that is it.